Hello class. Today we are doing Red P2.4. Let's get started. Today we're going to solve the equation, okay? And then it asks for us to check our solution. So let's take a look at this. First of all, we see that 15 plus C is equal to negative 12. Now, when we do equations, we ask a question. We ask a question as to whose house, okay? When we have a variable, we identify that this section of the variable belongs to C, because in order to identify what C is, we must get everything from this side of the equal sign to the other side, leaving C alone. So we say this is C's house, this is C's turf, okay? So therefore, this is C's house, but who's in C's house at this time? A positive 15. So we must move the positive 15 out. Well, in order to move the positive 15 out, we must take the inverse of positive 15, which is negative 15, and we put it on both sides. Then this cancels out because positive 15 and negative 15 is 0, so that is gone. And C is now alone, and therefore 15 is on the other side. Therefore, negative 15 plus a negative 12 plus a negative 15 would give us a negative 27. All right, so now if we were to check this, then we would check it by saying negative 27 plus a positive 15, the result would be a negative 12, and therefore that's how we check it, by putting our answer in place of C. Let's look at number 4. Number 4, n plus 12.8 is equal to negative 0.3, or 12 and 8 tenths and negative 3 tenths. So whose house is it? It is n's house. Who's in n's house? A positive 12.8. So let's take the inverse, negative 12.8, negative 12.8, and therefore n is left alone, and in a negative 3 tenths plus a negative 12 and 8 tenths is going to give us 3 tenths plus 8 tenths here, okay? 1 plus 2 is 3, 1, and therefore it's negative because they both are negative. Now let's test it. We test it by saying 12 and 8 tenths plus 13, negative 13 and 1 tenth. And what happens here is because the signs are different, we must subtract. This would be an 11, this would be a 2. 11 take away 8 would give us a 3 tenths, and this is 2, that's 1, and so therefore the answer matches 3 tenths, okay? Now, let's move forward. 6. Okay, we have, let's do this way. So to check the answer, we're going to have negative 13 and 1 tenths, and we have 12 and 8 tenths. Signs are different, so this is negative, this is positive, so we're going to subtract. That's 2. That gives us a 0. That's 0, and so it's negative 3 tenths because we have more negative than positive. Okay, so now let's move on to number 6. On number 6, we have 5 and 47 hundredths plus k equals negative 14 and 19 tenths. So it's K's house. We're going to move the negative 5 and 47 hundredths. So to move it, we take the inverse, positive 5 and 47 hundredths, positive 5 and 47 hundredths. Okay? That leaves K alone, and therefore the signs are different, so therefore we're going to subtract. 9 take away 7 is 2. 11 take away 4 is 7. Bring out decimal point. 13. Take away 5 is 8. We have more negative than positive, and that would be our answer. Okay? Now, moving forward, if we were to add the negative 5, put negative 8 and 7/200 in place of k, and we add them together, we're checking our answer. Negative 5 and 47/100, negative 8 and 72/100, put them together. This is 9. This is 9. This is 11. That's 6 and 8 is 14, gives a negative 14 and 19/100. Okay? All right, let's move forward to number 8. On this section, it asks, write the verbal sentence as an equation, then solve. So let's take a look. 32 is the sum of a number z and 9. So here we go. 32 is the sum. That means it's an addition problem. Okay, we're going to put that here as an addition problem. Okay, so we know something plus something. Okay, so 32 is the sum of a number z and 9. Okay, and so now we need to solve. Okay, it is z's house, and therefore we want to get z alone. Instead of adding 9, we're going to subtract 9. And then z is equal to 12 take away 9 is going to be 3. And this is 2. 23 is our answer. Okay? All right, number 10. A drop on a wooden roller coaster is -1/2 feet. A drop on a steel roller coaster is 104 feet lower than the drop on the wooden roller coaster. Okay? What is the drop on the steel roller coaster? So if the wooden roller coaster is -98.5 and the steel is 104 feet lower than the wooden, so that's wooden, take it a little lower, 104th, okay? So therefore it says, what is the drop on the steel? The steel will be equal to -98.5 minus 101/4. So because we are not going to subtract, we put a plus and negative here. Both the signs are the same, so we must add them. So in this case, the denominator. So S is going to be equal to, if we change this to a 4, to 4 by multiplying by 2. All right, multiplying by 2, then this will be -98 2/4 plus a -101/4. Add together, S is equal to whole numbers. -98 plus a -100 will be a -198, and then 2/4 plus 1/4 will be 3/4. Okay, and so therefore 3/4 feet. And so therefore that's the drop on a steel roller coaster. Okay, that is our lesson. See you in the morning.